Hey, how are you, Joe? Just got back from Buffalo. Just want to know, what do you know, Joe? 1, 2, 3.
I need a microphone, but that's...
I'll speak up.
Yeah, you...
I mean, T-Ray and Possum both said, anytime we come on up, they got room for us.
Aren't they sweet?
I first met Levon in, or as you all say, Levon, in the late 80s. When the band had broken up, he was playing with Randy Chalante and Jimmy Weeder around, and we were doing a benefit for the Woodstock Little League. And I gave Levon a ball cap that had a bulldog with an American flag on it. I think we were bros ever since. And I hung around in the 80s, and then they got the band back together in the 90s, and I was going to all the shows, and then the road manager said, "You're always here, we'll make you security. Levon trusts you," and
glare off your glasses, so just kind of look toward me. That's good.
I was on the road going to all the shows with Randy, and Levon and I were friends, and the road manager said, "We got to do something with you. You're always here. You know everybody. We'll make you security." And then it was time to go to Japan, and Levon said, "Son, I'm not going without you." And I said, "Well, I'll get my passport, and my other business can take care of itself." And it was a ride after that. You know, we locked in, and I was the road manager. But with those guys, it was always more than just being a road manager. It was, you had to be a friend. You had to know what to say. You had to know what not to say. You know, it was rock and roll at its best. But, you know, we always had something to prove, because it wasn't the original five, and everybody was looking at us a little sideways. And then Levon and Danko and Garth, and the amount of pride they had in their music was something to see. And it carried over to everybody in the band, everybody in the crew. And we just went around the country playing for folks. And Levon would look over at me, I'd be on the side, as he said, at Gardner's gun side, him and Randy double drumming, singing. And he'd say, "Oh, they're dancing yet, son?" And I'd say, "Yeah, they're dancing." He said, "All right, it's a good night then." But he showed me, Levon showed me so much about life, about music. It wasn't just that he was a musician. He was so much more than that. He'd look at his backyard, and he'd know that if you took the gravel out and you put some water in there, you'd have a pond. He just knew this. And as everybody who knows Levon would say, he wasn't exactly paying attention in Marble High School.
Yeah.
So this was natural brains, natural instinct. And when the house burned, we got him a house in the meantime, and him and Sandy designed what they were going to have the barn. It was always Levon's idea to have midnight rambles, you know, from his Arkansas roots. The times he saw Sonny Boy and Peck Curtis on the back of a flatbed truck. It was in him, and he instilled it in me. That's why I'm down here right now in the Arkansas Delta with the blues, because I come to pay respects to what Levon gave me. I went out to the farm that he sharecropped on, and I paid my respects to Mr. Thompson Jr. And I went to Marble, and I'm here with Anna Lee and Bubba and C.W. Gatlin, the people that mean something. And he showed me about these people, and he showed me about this music. And all I can do is just bathe in it all my life, because it changed me. I got sick on a movie set. Him and Steven Seagal saved my life. Gave me time to get a liver transplant. Levon got sick. Nobody was coming to the shows. He had no voice. My aunt and I got him to a doctor at Sloan Kettering. They saved his voice. He didn't sing for a long time. So we put a blues band together, and we went out. He was drumming to beat the band, and we had some young kids, white boys, playing the blues, and it was real. And Levon made sure it was real. And then he got his voice back when I got sick, and he went on to the Rambles and all that glory with his Grammys. And I just got to sit back and watch, you know, because we all did it together. And he was my friend, and I miss him, but he was my friend.
When was the first time you came with Levon down to the Delta here, where his roots
In 1991, we got a call from the Cape Brothers that Jimmy McCracklin, Arkansas boy, was going to be down here and needed a band. So Levon said, come on, son. And Jimmy Weeder, his guitar player, and Randy Shalante, and Stephen Davis, who was writing Levon's story at the time, we got on the bus and we came down here. And as Jimmy Weeder said, Butchie, you got off that bus the first time on Cherry Street, you knew you weren't in New York anymore. And it was 91, and we played the King Biscuit then, and I got to meet people and went up, made the pilgrimage, as I call it, up to Turkey Scratch and Marble. But it was 91 when I first came down here, and I've been down here many times since, and I'll be back again.
Did you, CW coming back and forth, when did you meet CW Gadd?
I gotta say that's a blur. I don't know the first time I met CW. Kind of like every time, first time I came down here, he was here, and he'd show up in Woodstock. Like I'd go and pick Levon up, and he'd say, "CW's coming with us." I go, "Okay, fine." You know, we were kindred spirits, CW and I. We had a brotherhood also. You know, I like real people, and people that don't lie to you when they shake your hand and they look you in the eye and they give you their word. And people who are not like that, I had no time for. And Levon had no time for it. And you gotta be real. I've seen Levon walk away from big time record people because he looked at them and I don't like his shoes. And we go. But, you know, you go on instinct. And Levon didn't survive everything he survived without having real good gut instincts.
Were you coming with Levon to any of the blues when he played down here? Were you connected with him then?
I was the road manager probably for almost all of them. When the Barn Burners were together, there's one I missed because I was real sick then, waiting for my transplant. But I helped put the Barn Burners together with Levon. There was a Barn Burners before that with Jimmy Bovino for one night. We backed up the Muddy Waters tribute band in Woodstock with Bob Margolin and Willie Big Eyes and Pine Top. And then we went on, and Levon wasn't singing, but he had to play. And I got the Good Irish Boys, Chris O'Leary and Patty O'Shea, and a Sicilian bass player who used to play rock and roll. I had told the rock and roller, Frankie and Grayo, but Levon said, "Son, with me, you're playing a doghouse bass. Don't give me no electric bass." And he got the doghouse bass, and he twirled it around, you know. But
He was taller than he was.
it was taller than he was. You're right,
He was.
Andy.
Little Frankie was a little bitty thing.
He played it on the hall, right?
Yes.
Bass track.
Yep. But you know, Levon was always about building a band. You know, we got to build a band, and that's what he did always. You know, that's why they have that stuff about the band's music. Levon was all about adding and improving and making it right. And with the Barn Burners, we played every Wednesday night at the Joyous Lake in Woodstock for $10 and 10 people. And he would make those boys play. Those boys were great blues enthusiasts, real Chicago blues, dirty, low-down blues. And when we thought it was right, we started booking shows. We went down to the East Coast, and of course we had a hit in Memphis and Little Rock. And friends came out, and we had a great time.
Well, you know, that's what Anna Lee and Amy and CW were all talking about. Levon never pushed himself out front, or he was all about the music, all about making a band. The musicians, the group. There wasn't
even when we were playing like the House of Blues in LA with the band, you know, big time, you know. What's his name? Crazy guy, friend of Mick Danko's. He would come by. He got Gary Busey would come by, and Harry Dean Stanton, and Richie Haywood from Little Feat. It was a huge deal, you know. The band was in town again, the band, but when the guys would video it, Levon would always say, "Don't just put it in my face. I want 2 in the shot at least. And if you can get 3, you get 3." But he was not about, you know, get that camera out of my nose, son. He said, "There's another drummer over here." Or he'd say, "Get me and Danko together." He was never about just Levon. He was always about the band. Whether it was 10 people in the room or 60,000 at Soldiers Field, it was about the band and making it right. God help the sound man if Levon didn't like it. He would give him that look like he just burned sour, man, and that guy would quake in his boots. I've seen mandolins get tossed because they weren't tuned right. But it was all about the music, all about the people, and there'll never be another like him, ever.
Anna Lee, you and CW, what can you?
One thing I remember when they to Little Rock to open the Alltel. The boys were like nurses. They screened everybody, you're not smoking in here. That was shortly after he had his, or not shortly, but, you know, you're not smoking in here, you're not, you know, don't light a cigarette in here. I mean, they was like almost guarding the door, make sure that he was not around smoke or anything. And they were a great bunch of boys. They were
You know what's funny about that night? We rehearsed before that for a day or two. Cotton.
Which night, the Alltel?
Alltel, yeah.
Opening. And James Cotton, and the Hawk, and Cates and everybody. And I got on the phone to Robbie Chaffee. He's a Hammond.
Start back, what happened the night we opened, because Annalee was off camera saying that, so talk about the night you opened Alltel and go from there, just like you were going to do.
I'll tell you, the night we opened the Alltel Arena in Little Rock, it was something to see. We had been in town rehearsing for a couple of days. The Hawk, back in Arkansas, Kate Brothers, the band, and then James Cotton was in there on it with us, and I got on the phone way before cell phones, and I called my friend Robbie Chaffee, who played with Jake Dillon's son in the Wallflowers. He plays Hammond organ, Levon loved him. And I said, "Where are you at?" He said, "I'm on a golf course in Las Vegas." "Why?" He said, "Do you want to play with Levon, James Cotton, and Garth Hudson?" And 3.5 hours later, Robbie was in Little Rock, and he sat and played with his childhood idol. Levon said, "Come on, son, play with Garth." He got to play with Garth. And that's just the way it always was with those guys. You never knew. Little Feet would come along, and the band and Little Feet were locked together for so many years. Richie Haywood, rest in peace. When he was set waiting for a liver transplant, which I got, he was dying. Levon had given me the Last Waltz gold record, because he hated the Last Waltz anyway. And he said, "Here, you saved my life, here's something for you, you know, it might be your retirement one day." And Richie was sick, and he had no money, he had no insurance. And I got Levon to sign the gold record, and we auctioned it off for Richie's benefit. We got $5,000 for it. And he puts his arm around me, he says, "Son, that's the first damn time that Last Waltz ever did anything for anybody. Good for you." And so, yeah. We had some time.
Yeah.